Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel for another Spooktember video. So today I'm working in my my Strathmore journal. I haven't used this one in a while. As you can see, the light is streaming in through the window this morning because it's very early in the morning. In fact, I don't even think it's 7:30 in the morning yet. And the sun is streaming in because it's a funny angle. And even the lights in my studio this morning are not compensating for the sunlight that's coming in. So we'll just have to work in the sun. I'll start that again. Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So can you see the shadows? It's because it's very early in the morning and the sun is streaming in through my shed windows, and even the lights aren't compensating for it. So we'll just have to deal with it, won't we? Right, so I'm working in my Strathmore journal, which is one I haven't used for quite some time. In fact, I can't remember the last time I used this. That was the last page. Of course, I've not even dated it. Look, I really should remember to date these things. So what I'm going to do with this one, I'm going to work at double page spread today. So I'm going to create a little bit of a landscape. So we're going to work on kind of a level like this. So I'm going to create a painted background, but I want to do it as a kind of, say, ombre, if you like. I'll just put some water in my paint pot over here because it looks like my brushes are getting a little bit dry. That should do me. All right, so I've got my paint palette for this page, which is going to be my Deco Art Americana paint, which is bright orange, orchid, which is a lovely purple. I don't like purple normally, but for Halloween it's a must. And we've got morning mist, which is a kind of nice grey colour, and that's the one that I'm going to start off with at the top. So let's just create give it a good shake. It's been a while since I've used this one. Oh, there we go. You can tell it's been a while, can't you? So grab one of my Dina Wakley brushes, a little bit of water just to kind of get it going again. And I'm going to start off at the top. I'm not gessoing the page first. Because I'm not particularly interested in getting it moving once it's down on the page again. And we'll go in as scrappy as we like on this page. So now we've got that, I'm going to go to purple, the orchid. Squish some of that out as well. And I'm not even going to clean my brush. And then we'll work that back up and just kind of blend it in. This is why we didn't want to, this is why I didn't want to gesso the page, because without leaving that as it was, you wouldn't have been able to blend that. People say you can't blend acrylic paint. You can. All right, and then we're going to get some orange, naranja. My Spanish pronunciation is absolutely awful. Okay, and then we're going to grab the orange, and then, of course, orange is a bit more translucent. Workman again next door. We've started early, very, very early. Right, so I might just need to do a little, now, I'm going to leave some like brush marks just across the top there. That's creating our kind of background, almost like a sunset. When you get those streaks in the sky late at night when the sun's going down and it catches the clouds. That's kind of the thing that I'm going for. Keep on going with the orange down here. And then just blend it over where I drew those lines, which I can barely see now, which is fine. That's it. Okay. And now I'm going to just quickly clear this up and then I'll be right back. So I'll quick tidy up and then I'll be back. Alright, so I've done a little bit of a clean up and a tidy up. So I've got some of that sour apple green and I'm going to put some of that on the page there, but I also want a darker green. So I'm hoping that there's enough that'll do. I was hoping that there was enough of that black left in there just to be able to take the green, take the black, mix it together to create a dirty kind of dark green, almost like an army green. There we go. And then that's it. That's what we want. I love these kind of backgrounds where you've got all that kind of painterly marks in there. There we go. So you can still see that there is green in there, but it's dark enough for you to do what you want, as in create that look. But I suppose until I actually do it, you won't really know what it is I'm actually going for. And then darker towards the bottom. That's it. Darker towards the bottom. A bit more green in there, I think. So you've got that hint of kind of green in that bottom. Just a little bit more. And then what I'm going to do is just kind of just bring in some flicks coming downwards. Like so, but what I could do is swap brushes for that. Let's see if I've got my fan brush. No, kitchen towel, here we go. Right, let me just dry that off. There we go. A little bit of green on the brush. And then just create a few. Try and break up the brush a bit. With some vertical lines. That'll do. That will do nicely. Right, so have a quick clean up and then I'll be back. All right, so for this next part, you can use, or I can use, if I wanted to, either black paint or black ink. Doesn't make any difference. Either way. So this is my Going Batty stencil, which I released last year. Excuse the noise coming from outside. So what we're going to do is we're just going to put a few kind of random bats kind of in the background, just to give it a bit of atmosphere. But remember, it is an art journal page, so it doesn't have to be perfect, and it certainly doesn't have to be exact. Yeah, it's just kind of like a hint of those in the background. That's all we really want. So let's get rid of that. Alright, and then we'll get that dry. Alright, so now that's dry. So I'm just thinking to myself, maybe I should do a stencil where the bats are all higgledy-piggledy. It's all flying in different directions rather than all uniform like this one. This one was originally designed as like a background to cards and ATCs and that kind of thing. Whereas if you've got one that's all over the place, like Bat Attack, then it would be a bit more for backgrounds on pages like this. Maybe I'll do one. Who knows? Maybe by the time this video goes live, there'll be a Bat Attack stencil on the website. Why not you just have a quick look and check? Because you never know. I might have had time to do it. Right, so the other thing that I wanted to do before I got any further was to add some splatters, but I wanted white splatters just in that background. I'm going to do them first before I do anything else, because I want some in the background, and then later on I may come back in and add some more over the top. So let's just add some in like so. Maybe a bit more. Maybe are a bit too subtle, but then again, if I come back in later on, I can add some darker ones, larger ones. A bit more water. Just a few in the foreground down here. That's it. That'll do me. That'll do it. As somebody said to us the other day, that's the badger. Don't ask, don't know. That's just what he said. Very weird man. Anyway, right. Let's get that dried off. All right, so just in case there's any left, I'm going to close it. And then what will happen there is if they're still wet, it'll just transfer to the other side and ta-da! Anyway, there we go. Right, so before we go any further, I'm going to grab a black pen, one of my Ocean Care ones. This is one of the Uniball Ocean Care pens. So 75% recycled plastics, which includes 10% of recycled plastics from the ocean. So it's all ecologically friendly. Or so they say. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come in and just separate that kind of green with a kind of scrabbly border. And then down here at the bottom, I'm going to do the same thing. Just to kind of add a little bit of interest, just to break up that line between the green and the orange. And you can write along there if you want to. You could write something illegible in your art journal page if you really wanted to, just to get that kind of that look. All right, so next thing, start gluing down our focal points. So I've just got paint on one of them, but that's all right. That's fine. Right, so for this, I'm going to be using one of my new Carte Noire sets. So these are called, let's move that out the way, so that you get 3 zombie figures. So these are called Need Brains. So you've got, so the black on one side, white on the other. So they are cardstock. They're 1,500 microns thick. As you can see, very, very thick. And because they're cardstock, like I said, black on one side, which means you can just use it as a silhouette if you want to, or you can paint it. These work fantastically if you cover them with acrylic paint, and then you can stamp on top of them if you want to. You can add embossing powders, you can do whatever you like. You could literally go over the top of these with your embossing ink and then cover them with embossing powders and make them really, really shine and stand out if you want to. Or you could just flip them over and then use them as white, or paint them whatever side with whatever colour you want to do. Now I'm going to show you exactly in a minute what they look like when you do add paint to them, but I'm going to glue these down as they are because I want that black kind of silhouette-y figure for the page. So move that out of the way. So like I said, so this set of these 3 zombie characters are called Need Brains because everybody knows. So Ian and I finally got around to watching season 2 of Wednesday last night. So Wednesday Addams, and we were very, very happy to see Joanna Lumley, fantastic British actress who we love. Joanna Lumley, particularly when a character of Patsy from Absolutely Fabulous. But yeah, she played a great part in Wednesday as Grandma. Fabulous, absolutely fabulous. You see, she was in that too. Absolutely fabulous. Patsy Stone, do you remember? Yeah, absolutely brilliant. You see, I always loved Joanna right the way, and you'll remember going back to the 80s as playing Sapphire in Sapphire and Steel, a fantastic sci-fi series which was both sci-fi, very sci-fi, but also very, very spooky. Very spooky. Now if you've never seen Sapphire and Steel, I urge you to find it and to watch it. That should come down, shouldn't it? Because it is an absolute fantastic sci-fi series. But like I said, both sci-fi and spooky at the same time. Particularly the first one, but the one set on the train station. Oh my goodness. Back in the 80s, nobody had seen anything like it. Very, very underrated and never kind of quite resolved. PJ Hammond never kind of resolved it. PJ Hammond was the guy that wrote or created the characters of Sapphire and Steel. Very, very underused characters, if you ask me. Right, let's get this other one. I'm making zombie noises, look. Let's just try and shuffle you. Are you stuck down now? Yeah, I think so. All right, so I'm just going to press and hold these down until that glue sticks, and then I'll be back. I'm loving it already. So while that's drying, I've just gone and cut myself some worms. Now I was going to hand write this phrase, but I just thought, no, do you know what? I think it calls for a laser cut one. So again, I can't make up my mind whether to make this part of a kit. And I did them reverse because I wanted to paint on the white side. So as you can see, black on one side, white on the other. So all I'm doing is just going over with a sponge, because you're also getting that kind of stippled texture. Just grab a scalpel so I can just hold them down at one side. That's it, just while I'm dabbing. You can use an ink dauber, one of those Tim Holtz ink blending foams to do this, or a sponge like I'm doing. You don't always have to buy Tim Holtz. Other brands are available, and you can do quite a lot without buying Tim Holtz. So the neighbours are having a garden room built. They've had 2 garages demolished, and the workmen are in rebuilding, which is why we had a new fence, because ours was falling down, and to get to the garage they needed to dismantle part of the fence. So the neighbours kindly said, well, seeing as, you know, we're going to have to demolish and rebuild part of the fence anyway, why don't we replace the whole thing with a brand new one? Because the old one is quite a few years old. So it seemed sensible. And of course, they've chipped in with a cost. So it's only cost us half to have the fence replaced. I know, blessed with nice neighbours too. So they could have just replaced the bit that they had to get in with, but you know, like I said, it was desperately in need. It's been replaced anyway, which we knew when we moved into the house that it would have to be done sooner rather than later. Here we go. So there you go. You can see that the carte noir, the black card that these shapes are made from, takes the paint really, really well. So let me get these dried off, get it all cleaned up, and then I'll be right back. I'm going through baby wipes at a heck of a rate today. All right, we're dry. So just grab some glue, just put a few blobs down where we need it, and then flip it over, and then we can just start sticking it down. That's why I love this glue, because of that fine point application, the fact that you've got wiggle room as well. So you can get into lots of different, you know, fiddly bits, fiddly places. To add glue just on the tips of things if you want to. Just put single blobs down of it. And then it doesn't take long. Before it grabs, which is fabulous. Love that. So what you could do now, you could come in and add more scrabbly bits around the outside. You could create a border. You could add little bits in the background if you wanted to. You could do a few more. You could add maybe like a faux gravestone in the background. Just to make it look as though you're in a cemetery or something like that. Or if you've got some gravestone stamps, you could maybe do that as well. Love it. Absolutely love it. So I think I'm done with this. I'm not going to add any more splatters. I'm not going to add a border around it. I think I am done. I like it a lot, and I had loads of fun creating the page, which is what it's all about. So I hope you enjoyed watching me create this art journal page too. If you did, please remember to give the video a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel already, you can do so by clicking the button at the end of the video for more Spooktember videos to come. That's all from me for now. I'll see you all again very, very soon. Bye for now.